Welcome to The Explainer. We're always told that to get ahead, you've got to be a real go-getter. But what if that's just a plain wrong? Today, we are diving into a little story with a massive idea, one that completely flips the script on what success really looks like.
I mean, it's a question that hits home for a lot of us, right? You feel like you're stuck in that endless cycle. Just push harder, hustle more, believing that's the only way up. But what if there's a better way? A path that's not just more effective, but way more fulfilling too.
So this brings us to the hero of our story, a guy named Joe, and I bet he's going to feel pretty familiar to a lot of you. Joe is your classic go-getter. He's ambitious, he's driven, but man, is he frustrated. For him, success is this prize you have to chase, something you have to grab and take from other people.
See, Joe is caught in what the book calls the go-getter's dilemma. It's this whole mindset that's laser-focused on one thing and one thing only, what you can get.
And this right here, this is the core conflict. You've got the go-getter, who looks at the world and sees a battlefield, right? A competitive arena, where the big question is always, what can I get? But then, the story shows us this totally different path, the path of the go-giver. They see a cooperative network and ask a completely different question. What can I give?
Okay, so Joe's go-getter approach, it's just not working. I mean, he's on the verge of losing a massive client. His whole quarter is about to go down the drain. So out of pure desperation, he goes looking for this legendary consultant, a mysterious figure known only as Pindar. And that meeting sets him on a totally new and pretty surprising path to success.
Now, Pindar agrees to help, but there's a catch. He's not just going to tell Joe the secrets to success. Nope, he's going to arrange for Joe to learn them for himself. So this isn't some boring lecture, it's a real journey, a chance to meet actual people who live and breathe these secrets every single day.
And this journey brings Joe and us to the absolute heart of the story, the 5 laws of stratospheric success. These are the principles he learns from his meetings, and they are the very things that are going to transform him from that frustrated go-getter into a successful go-giver.
So what are they? We've got the law of value, the law of compensation, the law of influence, the law of authenticity, and finally, the law of receptivity. You'll see how each one builds on the one before it, creating this complete roadmap out of that frustrating go-getter trap. All right, let's kick things off with the very first and maybe the most foundational of all the laws, the law of value. And believe me, this one completely redefines the whole concept of what it means to have worth. This right here, this is the big pivot. It's about shifting your entire focus. You stop asking, hey, what's in it for me? And you start asking, how much incredible value can I provide? The idea is you stop chasing the payment and you start creating value. And when you do that, the success, and yes, the money, it naturally follows.
And this quote, it just nails it, doesn't it? This isn't about being a smooth talker or just faking it till you make it. No, genuinely valuable interactions come from having a real, authentic interest in the other person.
Okay, so if the law of value is all about the quality of what you give, the next law, the law of compensation, is all about the quantity. We're talking about the sheer scale of your impact.
It's a really simple formula when you think about it. Your income, your success, your fulfillment, it's all determined by 2 things: how many people you serve and how well you serve them. That's it.
And you can see it laid out perfectly here. Look, serving a few people in a decent way, that gets you a certain result. Now, serving those same few people excellently, okay, that's even better. But the real magic, the big leap in your compensation and your impact, happens when you find a way to serve many people and serve them excellently.
All right, so you're giving great value and you're reaching a lot of people. So what's next? How do you build on that? Well, that brings us to the law of influence. And this law teaches us that influence isn't something you can demand or take, it's something you earn. Just think about the people who have the most influence in your own life. Chances are they've built this network of advocates, right? An army of people who genuinely want to see them succeed. And why is that? It's because those influential people consistently and generously put other people's interests first.
And that's really the secret sauce, you know? At the end of the day, people do business with, and they refer business to, people they know, like, and trust. There is just no faster or better way to build that trust than by making their interests your top priority.
Okay, at this point you might be thinking, hang on, this all sounds great, but do I have to become some kind of perfect, selfless saint to pull this off?
Well, the fourth law, the law of authenticity, gives a huge, resounding no. In fact, it says the complete opposite.
And this is such a powerful idea. The most valuable, unique, and amazing gift you have to offer anyone is yourself. Just you. Trying to be somebody you're not is exhausting, and frankly, people can see right through it. Your real power comes from showing up and bringing your authentic self to everything you do.
And that brings us to the fifth and final law, the one that really ties this whole philosophy together, the law of receptivity. Because look, giving is an incredibly powerful act, but it's only one half of the equation. If you only give and never receive, you'll eventually just burn out. You'll have nothing left in the tank. The key here is to understand that giving and receiving, they aren't opposites. They're two sides of the exact same coin. The best analogy is breathing. You have to exhale. That's the giving part. But you also absolutely have to inhale, and that's the receiving. You simply cannot have one without the other. It's a cycle.
So, as Joe starts to really absorb and live by these 5 laws, everything starts to change. You can just feel the transformation. That old frustration just melts away, and it's replaced by a real sense of purpose. As soon as he shifts his focus from getting to giving, his business, his relationships, his whole life, it all begins to turn around.
And this quote really sums up his entire journey, doesn't it? He finally gets it. Success isn't some zero-sum game where we're all fighting over a limited pie. No way. It's about focusing on giving, on creating value, which actually makes the pie bigger for everyone. And that, of course, includes you.
And so, the story leaves all of us with a very simple but incredibly powerful question. It takes it from just a story about a guy named Joe and turns it into a personal challenge for you and for me. It's not about what Joe learned anymore. It's about what we are going to do with this idea. So, let me ask you, who will you serve today?